Hey there! Today our group will tell you a little bit more about our research project. Stay tuned!
Many of you have heard this word, globalization, but what it means to us. Now it's easier for us to gain new knowledge, develop technologies, exchange information, and travel abroad. On this part we are going to focus the most. Why do people move abroad? Well, to study or to work at a new place where you would have more opportunities to gain success. Let's take the Netherlands as an example. Netherlands is not a big country, however you can find lots of international workers here. Home for approximately 17.8 million people, where 77% are Dutch, the Netherlands is considered to be one of the leading countries for business formation. And it seems interesting to our group, so our research question is next. How do different ethnic groups perceive Dutch leadership? What is the impact of diversity? Our team is interested not just in leadership within Dutch companies, but also to study leadership with different cultural backgrounds within these Dutch firms. Therefore, our team has come to the conclusion that to guarantee the greatest chance of finding this contextual factor, the team has to approach multinational companies that have their headquarters or large offices in the Netherlands. But what is the best way to answer this research question? It's simple. To interview people. That's why we chose to conduct semi-structured interviews. In order to see the situation from the both sides, we interviewed not just Dutch managers who are in charge of the workers, but also simple employees. So back to the basics. We chose to conduct semi-structured interviews because, in one hand, our interviewers could prepare the questions in advance so that the process of the interviews would be less chaotic and more effective. For example, we had some basic questions, and then developed them during the interview depending on who our candidate is and how is he or she replying. These are mostly the open-ended questions, such as, can you describe your own leadership style if we are interviewing the manager? If our candidate is an employee, we can ask this question, how are you influenced by the Dutch culture and Dutch leadership style? Other example of questions are, what would be your description of the perfect employee in your team? Or what would be your description of the perfect supervisor or boss under which you work? And, well, on the other hand, during the semi-structured interviews, we did not strictly follow our prepared format. Why? Because we allowed the interviews to freely express their views in their own terms, which could provide us with richer information. Warning, due to the COVID-19 related measures, this research team will have to resort to online mediums to perform the most interviews, such as Skype or Zoom platforms. Some interviews were done face-to-face, but everything is safe, 1.5 meters distance, no handshaking, and other things. So, we had our research question. We found candidates who agreed to be interviewed by us. We already conducted some interviews, recorded them, and even made some transcripts already. So, what is our next step? Correct, the next step is coding. But don't worry, don't panic, it's not as hard as it seems. Let me explain it to you. This research is based on a grounded theory approach, which entails that the following coding techniques will be used to ultimately find theories grounded on raw data: open coding, axial coding, and selective coding. Now, let me explain briefly each technique step by step. Overall, the coding process will be performed using the digital transcripts in Google Docs. So, the first step is open coding, reading the transcripts and devising categories that can be found in the transcript data, basically highlighting. This will generate a list of codes. Second step is axial coding. It entails the process of finding correlations and patterns between the codes. Those patterns can be called as meta-codes. Last but not least, selective coding. or basically the conclusion, describing a possible grounded theory that can be derived from the previously found correlations. Don't forget, for consistency during the coding process, equal division of the tasks is important, as well as rereading the transcripts and the codes that have been found.